And boom, we are live. GM everybody. So, it's another batch analysis. Probably my favorite time of the week. I actually really enjoy these self-coaching sessions. I find them very, very helpful, and I'm always looking forward to going through these and see how I performed, whether I was able to follow my rules, and what kind of new problems I encountered, and what kind of solutions I will come up with. It really is a great time. So let's get right into it. What do I have today? So this week, I believe I have quite a few trades. 4, 8, 12, 16, 18 trades. It's quite a lot. Uh, yeah, quite a lot. But before I start that, this week was very nice because, look, I'm not gonna lie. It's been 2 or 3 weeks in a row where I simply had a few trades that I didn't catch, and those trades ended up being winners. And those trades, well, not catching those trades ended up in me having a negative week, right? And that fucking sucked. Like having that week after week. Oh man, it was a bit frustrating. I did not enjoy that at all. But this week I finally I missed a few trades as well, but it wasn't necessarily just missed wins. And most importantly, I did take those wins. I know that I can be profitable. I went over all of my data this week, and there was only 1 week out of 20 weeks where even if I executed perfectly, I would be negative. And I'm talking about maybe minus 3R or some stuff. But now, uh, all the other weeks were positive, right? So as long as I follow my rules and I do it perfectly, I know I can be positive. I know I can be profitable. It just sucked to see that if I missed it, I wasn't. So this week is going to be different. I know I'm going to be profitable. I caught quite a few trades, and those plus sixes, they really, really add a lot of RR to my bottom line. So let's go ahead and take a look. So regarding last week, so it looks like I followed momentum really well. I had good entries. I didn't trade any stage ones, and I made very few mistakes. That's very nice. What went bad, however, was that I traded after deep pullbacks. I gotta pay attention to both E and V timeframes. I remember I already made a few refinements in regards to this, especially how I treat deep pullbacks on E versus V, but maybe we'll get into that. So this week, what I really wanted to focus on is using alerts. I know that that was one of the refinements from last week in order to not miss trades, and I've been using them a lot, and using alerts is amazing. Like whenever mostly on the V. I use them mostly on the V. I pretty much know what price needs to do on V in order for me to start watching. So I just set an alert and I can chill because I know that I will be notified the moment I need to start paying attention, right? Don't trade deep pullbacks. This is most important on the E, but yeah, also does in one way or another show on the V. Don't trade after weak stage twos. Of course, that's one of my fundamental rules, and do not hesitate. Yeah, that's very important. Okay, so let's start it off. Started the week off with a win. That was beautiful. So let's take a look what happened over here. So we have EU, and this looks like that's a short. Okay, so we have a EU short. So first of all, I can immediately see that there is some stage one over here, right? Clearly, there is a resistance. There are multiple touch points over here that define this resistance. Like, okay, I can just draw them in immediately because that's gonna add more context. Every time price comes to this level, rain like sells start raining and it cannot break through. But then eventually it does break through, pulls back a little bit, and breaks through again. So to me, this is a confirmed reaccumulation by now. I would not trade here just yet because my expectation here is that all of this is most likely redistribution. My expectation was that this is going to fuck off to the downside, but then it actually holds all the it holds the 50 EMA, the EMA starts sloping up, and then it breaks higher above this again. And it does so in an extremely violent way. Strong, strong momentum on the V. So now I'm simply going to take a look at the 1 minute, probably even the 10 second. Yeah, yeah. even the 10 second. And I just want to see, so this is the impulse. I just want to see this reaccumulation, and within that reaccumulation, I want to see money coming back in. And here on the 10 second, we can see that beautifully, right? Price breaks down. I remember uh, I already had something set up over here, but that um, didn't quite manifest. But then money comes in again, absolutely beautiful. Has a short little pause. You can see this is my entry. This is I pull the fib from the bottom of the impulse all the way to the top of the impulse, and I pay attention to the 50. As long as price is above the 50, I'm valid to set up the buy stop. That's exactly what I do. I get tapped in, fucks around a little bit, and then it goes very strongly. I get to reduce risk, and this delivers super, super quickly. So, in my opinion, this was an absolutely beautiful trade. So let's take a look how I reduced risk here. Yep, pretty much on this strong candle away from my entry. That's when I reduce risk to the orange line, and then once there is fractal structure printed above my entry, that's when I can move to completely risk-free, and I take my full TP at 6R. So that was awesome. Let me label that up. So I would call this stage 1 expansion. Yeah. Okay. I'm also going to write confirmed react because that's very important to me. And I'm also going to say that it was good momentum. Now, there was definitely good momentum on the V over here. I mean, there's no doubt about that. As you can see, I also started using this imbalance indicator a little bit again, the one that colors the imbalances. I really like it because it helps me super easily see when there is imbalance or inefficiency in the market, which is proof that whenever market makes an impulse, it doesn't come back to mitigate, right? It leaves behind some inefficiency, and that's crucial to my momentum following. So here on the 1 minute, there is very good momentum, and here on the 10 second, there's also very good momentum, and it's a perfect DMB. Well, I'm going to call it perfect entry because I don't call them DMB necessarily anymore, even though it is a DMB, right? Like it's an ICI, DMB, double demand validation, whatever you want to call it, but it needs to look a very specific way, and this one was perfect. So overall, I love this trade, and I'm going to call it perfect. Okay, I'm going to label that up. Good context, good momentum, and good entry. Management-wise, also perfect, and that deserves a perfect. And this ran all the way to 19.18 max RR. Just gonna write that down here, keeping track of that. Maybe once every now and then I check my max RR and see what my data suggests, and maybe there is some fixed RR multiple that gives me better results, and if so, I'm happy to change it. But yeah, that was EU. Now, we're continuing on with EU as well. Just taking. Okay, so this is differently zoomed in. Okay, I see. So this is the previous trade, right? On the 1 minute, and here it started delivering, and here it pulls back for another MMB. This is quite extended, quite a lot, but like the expectation is that it should continue higher. So that's what I went for. But at the same time, like after such a big run, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit more of a reaccumulation. But still, my rules tell me very clearly that if there is a clean pullback, I need to trade in an MMB, which I'm doing over here. And if I get a nice entry in there, I should take it. And this entry, we can see lots of inefficiency left behind, moving quite a bit higher above the rising EMAs. Everything is looking very, very nice over here. If anything, like, yeah, the V over here, well, this would technically be the C, I guess, because I'm entering on the 10 second. But yeah, having a little bit of a deeper pullback would be nice, but this is still completely fine. This can easily pop up higher. I've seen it before, and even if it doesn't, I think it's very reasonable to get at least a break even out of it. Anyway, this is the stage 2. Looks very nice. I like this one a lot. Big chunky candles in my direction, relatively small in opposite direction, doesn't pull back all the way, leaves inefficiency behind, and then eventually there is a nice impulse and pulls back above the 50, and that gives me my entry. I kind of like this one. It also looks like a very nice ICI on the 1 minute. Those are usually the best trades, and this one just taps me in and yeah, fucks me up. And I think that's okay. I think this trade is perfect as well. So let's go with that. I'm gonna say good momentum over here. Very good momentum over here. I'm gonna say maybe overextended. Very good momentum over here. And I would say this is a perfect entry, to be honest. Like, let's compare these two and see how different they are. Yeah, there's a big, big move that takes us above some swing point, right? Oops, didn't want to do that. Takes us above some swing point as well. I can mark that up too. That's very nice. Same happened here. EMA start rising, everything, prices above. Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's a little bit flat compared to this one. This one is definitely better, but still, these entries work really nice. I like this entry. But overall, I'm gonna call this good. I'm not gonna call it perfect because I feel like maybe this is a bit too overextended. And over time, this is definitely something I'm gonna pay attention to, and maybe I will come up with some different overextension rules than just being valid to follow all the way till MMB4. But right now, I'm pretty happy with what I have. So that is that. And let me mark that up. Very good context, good momentum, good momentum. Do I have overextended here? No. Okay, good entry. And management-wise, yeah, there was nothing to do. Try to get out with 0 TP. Ah, I see, I see. So after it broke over here, I wanted to get out with a 0 TP. The reason is here all the way. Okay, so let's take a look. So here it taps me in, right? This is the reaccumulation, comes back. I'm okay with this. And here it goes higher again and dies off. And at this point, I'm like, okay, this is definitely not doing what I would like it to do. So I set my TP to 0, but it doesn't reach there and instead gives me a -1. But yeah, good attempt to get out with a BE. So I like that. Perfect management, and overall, it's very good. Mm, yeah, it's very, very good. Cool. Moving on, we have a Euro USD win that I did not take. All right, yes, I remember. I remember why this is. Okay. So there's very good momentum on EU. This is actually it's a bit unfortunate. This is the ultimate fuckery what happened here, but yeah, you'll see, you'll see. It's kind of funny. So good momentum here. Here actually it pulls back a little bit already, has a few candles of sideways, of pause. That's very nice. And it's actually the same MMB over here, just that it goes sideways a little bit more. And then what does it do? Oh, let me see. So here it pulls back, right? It starts delivering. This is the trade that I originally took. Oh, yeah, yeah. So this takes me out by like a tick or some stuff. Is it a tick or not? Let me see. Okay, so my stop loss was here. Okay, okay, it's not really a tick, is it? Like my stop loss is somewhere over here. So yeah, it just takes me out very mm, in a very unfortunate way, but it is what it is. And I remember when it tapped me out, the first thing I do is I go to my Notion and Miro and start documenting it, right? And that ultimately takes a few seconds, maybe a minute, before I get everything done. And that led me to missing the follow-up trade. And this is something that has not happened to me. Well, it has happened to me before, but I haven't quite noticed like what the problem of that is. But now I have, and I already like came up with a solution and started addressing it. So when something taps me in immediately, I still need to pay attention to it because it just so can happen that I will get a great entry. And that's exactly what happened here. So I missed this, and while I was setting everything up in my journals, this entry comes along, and I completely miss it. And this entry was really nice, and it delivers to +6. So not only do I get a -1 being tapped out by literally a tick or two, I also get to miss the next trade, which ends up being a +6. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's okay. It's okay. We live, we learn. So I missed this, and I think that was a nice trade. So let's take a look here. Good momentum. I'm wondering if this entry is really good. Like the way I see it, right, is that we have this pullback and then we have this first leg up, and this leg overall is really nice, leaves behind some inefficiency and stuff. It's still within the reaccumulation. So pretty much what I'm looking for is within my MMB or reaccumulation, whatever you want to call it. I'm looking for signs that whatever money was present here that took the market up is showing up again. So I'm literally looking for a sign of money coming in. What is that? This is a sign of money coming in. This is a sign of money coming in. This, this, all of these moves that have aggressive moves, big candles and everything take us above the EMAs. Those are signs of money coming in. And then I wait for a little stop. This is also like this is probably going to be the directional trigger candle, right? The DTC that many people trade. I pretty much do the same. I wait for the DTC, but then I wait for the pullback and I like to buy stop. And I think um it's even more refined because my entry is a bit later, so I get a little bit more confirmation, and I really like it this way. So I think this entry was nice. It was good. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. Like perfect would be if it went a little bit higher. If it went like this, oh, that would be perfect. But still, this was really nice overall. Like the liquidity was already grabbed, and if it was just a liquidity grab in order to go lower for redistribution purposes, that's what it would do, right? But no, it came back in again, and pretty much instantly starts delivering. Then has a longer period of chop and then delivers to +6. So overall, I like it a lot. So not a perfect entry, but good entry. And what? Okay, this setup right after liquidating me saw us updating my Notion Miro. So this is how I would have approached it. After these few candles, I would have reduced risk to orange line. And after it creates this structure and breaks above, that's when I go completely risk-free. So yeah, that was pretty nice. Good context, definitely good momentum, and good entry. Management-wise, perfect, and I didn't take it, but it was good. And the reason I didn't take it, I made a new entry here. It happened right after I got stopped out. So I put that in here, and if that's a repeating issue, I mean, I already know it doesn't even have to be a repeating issue. Already now, I know exactly how I'm going to troubleshoot this. So yeah, that was EU. Next up, I have a spread loss on gold. So let's take a look at gold. Is this? I think this is a short, isn't it? Yes, these are shorts. So we have some kind of stage one happening over here, I would say, and then it breaks out. Here it confirms a reaccumulation. So after this point, pretty much, I'm looking for this direction. So as long as trend structure remains intact, which is mostly why I'm using the EMA 50, I'm very much happy to trade in this direction as long as there is momentum, right? And here, big momentum, shallow little pullback, big momentum. This is looking amazing, right? This is great context. This looks like there is significant money entering this market. Take a look what happens here on the B. Yeah, so we have an MMB over here, right? And out of that MMB, all of a sudden, huge momentum, and I definitely want to follow that. So taking a look here at the 1 minute, big momentum, I would probably call this MMB1, then big momentum again, MMB2 still above all the rising EMAs, also giving me a nice little stage 1 over here, and then it breaks higher, creates an MMB right here, and that's exactly where I'm looking to trade. So this is the stage 2 that I'm going to analyze. This stage 2 is very strong. I also probably pulled the fib over here to measure from here to here. The 50 would be somewhere over here, so we're definitely still above this. This qualifies as a shallow pullback. So at any point when money comes in here, I'm going to be very happy to take the trade. So here it starts reaccumulating, right? And I'm just looking for a strong move that takes me above the EMAs, which is this one, small little pullback, and then I can buy stop it. That's exactly what it gives me. And here it taps me in and goes to here. I think, let's take a look how I managed this. So after these few candles, I reduced my risk to orange line, and then I was waiting for my fractal structure above, but that doesn't quite happen. It comes all the way back, and it taps me out for a minus 0.2 R. So that was nice. I think this was perfect. So good momentum over here, very good momentum over here, very good momentum over here. I love it when I can just always type in good momentum. That's just perfect. As a momentum trader, that's exactly what I want to see. And here, I will call this, I will call it good entry. I think in order to be perfect, like it needs to leave behind some inefficiency, which this didn't. Okay, uh, this kind of chopped in a way, but it's still like it's still nice. Like still big candles in my direction, still takes us above the EMAs. It still qualifies as good, and but it's not perfect, but it's very very good. And I would ultimately what matters is I would take it again, right? So anyway, this was good, and this is good as well. So let me mark that up. Management was perfect. Good. Okay. So did I mark the previous one as well? Yeah, I did. Okay, okay. Cool. Moving on, we got a spread loss on EU. So we already know the context of EU. So I'm just gonna fill that in. We're still within this huge, huge impulse, right? And this has proven to indeed be an MMB. And now we're breaking out of that MMB, right? So the MMB is over here, like this. And here it breaks out, it pulls back. It it seems like this is a trade that I took within as this was already supposed to be delivering. Is that true? Okay, so this is where it goes higher. Let me just see. On the 10-second. Okay, okay. So this is the previous entry, and while that entry was active and risk-free, I took another entry. Yeah, which I'm totally valid to do. So this is good. So on the 10-second here, well, first on the 1 minute, I'm expecting another MMB here, right? Another reaccumulation. So whenever money comes in a big, big way, I'm more than valid to take it higher. So here we have a strong ass stage 2. It pulls back and it pulls back to, I would say, pretty much right to 50. I didn't document that here, but yeah, this is pretty much the 50. Maybe there's a little bit dip below that instantly reverses, which is still completely fine. And this is just a very, very strong impulse that takes us above all the EMAs, gets us rising, small little pullback. So I'm more than valid to set up my buy stop, right? And let's take a look how I manage this. So on this candle over here, I managed it, and uh, I get to reduce risk to the orange line, and that doesn't quite print a fractal structure above, and instead comes to tap me out for minus 0.2. So yeah, that's nice. I like it. I would say this was pretty much perfect. Even the entry is much, much stronger here. Yeah, this was perfect for sure. Actually, let me draw this in as well. Boop. Okay. Just so I know what I'm doing here. Bruh. Okay. And perfect entry. And overall, that deserves a perfect. Nice. So far, no mistakes. I mean, yeah, there's a mistake that I didn't take something I was probably supposed to, but that's all right. That's okay. So moving on. Wait, no, we're not moving on. Let me fill in all of this. Perfect. Okay. Moving on, we got a -1 on gold. So, same context as before, right? On gold here. Let's just take a look what's different. Okay, the only thing is that's different is we're literally following the same cycle over here. Okay, exactly the same one. So that's good to know. Just to see like what kind of price development happened there. So there's good momentum over here, good momentum over here. We know all of that. And now, how does this momentum cycle look like? We definitely have an MMB over here. Then we have an MMB over here with a stage 1 as well, which is beautiful. And now we're having an MMB over here. Well, there's an argument to be made that this whole thing is an MMB, but yeah, I think this is definitely a leg up, and this is its reaccumulation. So that's ultimately how I'm going to approach it. And here we have a very, very strong stage 2. If this starts reaccumulating, I definitely want to be part of it. And I'm pretty sure that like from here to here, the 50 is somewhere over here, so I'm valid to trade it. So as long as I get a nice strong impulse that takes us above EMAs, I'm going to trade it. And that's exactly what happens over here. Takes a small little pause, and that's when I take my entry. So let me see what happens. And I don't even get to reduce risk here. Yeah, maybe I could have reduced risk on this wick over here, but usually I like to see a strong momentum candle away. Yes, this is a strong momentum candle away, but it's simply not far enough. I'm totally fine taking a -1 here. I think those rules were really well followed, so I'm good with it. Good momentum over here and good entry over here. Again, not perfect, not perfect because, well, not much. There is some inefficiency left behind, but ideally it would be a little bit stronger. Like it would take us above this level, for example, and it would do something like this. Then I would be happy to take it because there is an argument to be made that this is still on a very flat 50, and yeah, this could be stronger. This could definitely be stronger. So, gonna write that down here. Could be stronger. Okay. But overall, I think this was a good trade again. And that's what's important. So good context, good momentum, and yeah, good entry. Management-wise, nothing to do. Overall, I'm gonna say it was good. All right, moving on, we got a loss on EU. Just gonna sip my coffee a little bit. Okay, let's see what happened here. So just gonna compare it to this picture over here because that's the momentum cycle we are following. So we have MMB 1, 2, 3, and then it flushes out, okay? And as it's flushing out, it should flush to the 6 minute, 5, 10, whatever. That's okay, still looks good. And here, yeah, I see what I'm doing. This is a 1 minute entry for sure. And as it flushes out, I'm looking for money to come back in. Okay, yeah, I see what's going on. Cool. So let me mark these things up from the start. So good momentum here, good momentum here. Okay, and here, right, we have this entire push up, and now it starts reaccumulating, starts breaking some lows and stuff. That's by definition reaccumulation. So as it's reaccumulating and it's still above the 50, as long as there is a nice entry where money comes in a very clear way, I can definitely enter that. And that's exactly what happens over here. and I wasn't even using the 10-second here. That's irrelevant. But here it taps me in and instantly fucks me up. I wonder if no, there's no follow-up trade. Okay, so what I have noticed is when this happens, usually that happens when price is already overextended and the move is finished. So these kind of entries, right, where there is a big move up and a pause, when it taps you in, the expectation is that it will run. That's like the best way to do it. But if you are the composite man and you know that this move is over, well, this is like the best place to redistribute, right? That's what I would do if I was a composite man. I would literally do exactly the same. I would tap in all the breakout traders over here, and then I would fuck them up for redistribution purpose. Okay, so when that happens, it's a big sign of loss of momentum, and usually when that happens, it disqualifies me from trading anything else inside of here. It's not the same when yeah, whatever. That's just like a small little point that I wanted to make. So here we definitely had good momentum, good reaccumulation. Actually, this is an entry, so this was most definitely a good entry. I wonder if it was perfect. It probably was perfect too. Yeah, there was already like a tiny little sign of loss of momentum. That's definitely something I pay attention to as a momentum trader. Here, when it got higher, it just tapped in and then reversed. So usually when that happens, it seeks liquidity to the bottom, right? That liquidity is right here. So my argument here was, okay, it needed some more liquidity. It did get that liquidity, so now we should be valid to take it higher. But instead, it takes this liquidity and now it's fucking off to the downside. So to me, that's like a big warning sign that I should probably not be trading this range anymore. This is probably going to need some deeper reaccumulation, maybe a stage 1 or whatnot, and then it's going to start a new stage 2, and that's when I can get involved. So that's just things that I pay attention to. And overall, I think this was a good trade, though. Yeah. So let's mark it up. Good context, good momentum, and good entry. And there was nothing to do management-wise. So overall, very, very good. I like it. Moving on, we got a break even on UJ. Okay, so it's pretty clear. Okay, this is a long. Okay, this is a long on UJ. Interesting. So it's pretty clear that this is a trending market, right? We got the EMAs rising pretty nicely. We got momentum in the market for sure. This one pulls back a little bit more and provides a nice little stage 1. That's exactly what I like to see from deeper pullbacks. Then big momentum comes in again, reaccumulates in a shallow way, and big momentum again. The expectation is that it's going to continue doing this. So as we come here, this stage 2 is amazing and it starts reaccumulating. Probably some kind of stage 1 here as well. We will see that nicely on the 1 minute. Yep, very, very nice. Uh, whether you look at it from a perspective of support resistance or accumulation schematic, accumulation MB, whatever, it's pretty clear that we are breaking above some kind of stage 1, even if we look, for example, for supply, right? Maybe there is like a supply over here. Either way, I would never ever get involved down here. But here, it looks like it really wants to expand and go further. We have our stage 1 over here. It does its little chop, money exchanges hands, and then all of a sudden, big momentum comes in, EMA start rising, it's looking pretty good, and it pulls back a little bit, creating a nice little MMB, or reaccumulation, and if I get a nice entry in there, I am going to take it. So this is the stage 2, big stage 2, very impulsive, strong move, leaves imbalance and inefficiency behind, starts reaccumulating, still above the 50 and everything, and now big money comes in. It doesn't go higher than that, which is important to me. It doesn't go higher. It pulls back a tiny, tiny little bit. Uh, I don't have the measurement over here, but this would be the measurement, and 50 would be somewhere over here, I believe. Oh, wait, is this a 1 minute entry? What's going on here? One sec, one sec. This is a bit weird. I see. I measured this impulse over here. I'm not supposed to do that though. I'm not supposed to do that. My entry was supposed to be different. I mean, I was supposed to enter here, yes, but my stop loss was supposed to be here. What's going on? Oh, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. No, 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 man. This is my 1 minute is serving as a V here, so I'm trading within that MMB, within that reaccumulation, and I'm looking for this inside of here on the 10-second. This I can only get entries inside of MMBs, okay? And this whole thing, am I arguing that this whole thing is an MMB, which it is? I guess I am. I guess I am, yeah. But this had a stage 1 already. Like, no, no, I wasn't supposed to do this. This was completely valid over here, though. Like, if I measured from here to here, this would be my 50. This would be my entry. That would be completely valid. That would give me a smaller stop loss as well, and that would make sure that it actually delivers higher, I believe. So, let me see. Maybe it would come and tap me out. Yeah, let me see. So if I entered the right way, okay, that would have come and tapped me out anyway. So, and it would probably even give me a -1. Interesting, interesting, interesting. But yeah, I see what I did here. I see. So I was pretty much just looking for an ICI here, and I measured that. I mean, it does make sense, but it's not really the way that I usually enter. Okay, this is not my usual entry because yeah, like within a reaccumulation, I'm looking for this kind of entry within stages like this. Like if this happened here, or maybe even here, it would be alright. But then it went too deep and it had a stage 1, right? And within that stage 1, I'm not supposed to trade or after it. And if it does this, this just gives me an MMB where I can trade on the 10-second. So unfortunately, this was a mistake. I wasn't supposed to take this trade, but yeah, either way, it ended up being a break even. And had I taken it properly, yeah, I would have gotten a -1. So interesting little situation here. But yeah, too bad this went to like 5R, 5.5, whatever, and didn't deliver. But yeah, let's mark it up. Definitely good momentum though. Like there's no argument about that, I think. Good momentum over here as well. Hmm. Yeah, I guess that's what I was arguing. Okay, I forced this trade a little bit, I guess. Like yeah, this is definitely a nice little reaccumulation, and I was thinking, okay, if money comes in over here, I should be able to take it. Even like on the 6 minute, right? If I got something like this, and that's pretty much what I saw in the zoomed in 1 minute over here. But yeah, mm, how am I even going to call this? What am I going to call this? This is a stage 1 expansion, and not my entry. Yeah, not my entry. Um, this was supposed to be a 10-second entry. Okay, well, first mistake. There it is. Mistake. So let me see if I have any comments here. No, not really. Not really. Okay. A good context, good momentum. Good momentum on the 1 minute as well, for sure. I'll put that here as well. But bad entry, and what else? What else? I don't have it here. Not my, well, not my entry. Boom. Make that red. Okay. And the 10 second, well, there was nothing here. Management wise, it was pretty much perfect, I think. So yeah, I reduced risk somewhere quite a bit late. I wanted, yeah, I know I reduced over here. I just took the screenshot a bit too late. I wanted to see like another big candle in my direction. And then after it broke above this structure, that's when I moved to completely risk-free. And this goes quite far and then comes back all the way to break even. Shit happens. So this was a mistake, and it was a mistake because it was not my setup. Okay, cool, cool. Moving on. We got some Ethereum trades. Alright, 2 break evens. Nice. So, Ethereum. I know, unfortunately, I didn't zoom out enough, but you can see it by the aggressive slope of the EMAs over here that this was a very, very strong stage 2. And then it starts reaccumulating. Here, it goes a little bit lower, and here I already, like at this point, I will require a stage 1 before I start following because we're quite deep in the reaccumulation and there's no fresh momentum, so to say. So that's exactly what I'm looking for here. Uh, there is a stage 1 happening. This is the supply that I marked up, and I simply wanted to see momentum away from here. That's kind of what happens. I don't get involved on the first one because I'm expecting that this can still be some kind of range shenanigans, grabbing liquidity and fucking to the downside. But it goes over here, still remains intact above the EMAs, and big momentum comes in yet again. And when it pulls back, that's when I'm valid to take a trade. So here I am on the 1 minute. This is a 1 minute entry. This is a stage 2. Leaves behind inefficiency. It is a little bit wiki, to be fair. Like this stage 2, it's not the cleanest. If anything, I don't like it too much. It's not super clean. But either way, it starts reaccumulating, right? And if I see a sign of strength coming in, I'm going to be happy to set up my buy stop. I remember I already set up a buy stop over here as well, but then it fucks off. And I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to watch this because this is so high. Like, there's probably not going to be a nice setup. But there was a nice setup. This goes way higher than that and starts pulling back a little bit. And I'm more than happy to take that. You see, I took my measurement. As long as we're above here, I'm valid to take it. And here, it taps me in. Let's take a look over here. Taps me in on this second bullish candle. That's when I reduce risk the first time. And then it creates structure above my entry. And as it breaks above that, I reduce risk completely. And yeah, it comes right back. So yeah, overall nice trade, but not perfect, mostly because of this stage 2. This stage 2 is a bit wiki, bit choppy, but yeah, overall it makes a lot of sense. So there's definitely good momentum in this market. It's a stage 1 expansion as well. And here there is also very good momentum, no doubt about it. Regarding MMBs, like regarding overextension and whatnot, I would probably say that all of this was a stage 1, probably. Then, so that would be Act 1. This pulls very, very deep, which makes it for me Act 2. And here we have MMB 1. This is probably MMB 2. So here we are in MMB 3 territory, which means I'm completely valid to trade. This is by no means overextended. And the entry was actually, well, the entry itself was beautiful, but the stage 2 over here was a little bit weak. So, mm, weak stage 2. Well, it's not weak, it's wiki. Wiki stage 2. A bit choppy, but overall, I'm gonna call it a good entry. It's not perfect because of this. There is some inefficiency left behind. It's simply how it started chopping after this candle, pretty much. Like, look at this. This is a little bit weird. Ideally, that wouldn't be the case. But yeah, overall, I'm going to call it good. Okay, let's go here. Good context. Good momentum, and it's a 1 minute entry. Good entry, a little bit choppy, and yeah, that's it. Choppy is wiki as well, I guess. And management-wise, it was perfect. So overall, I'm gonna give it a good. And yeah, it's a bit choppy. That's it. All right, moving on. There's another break even, and here I see I FOMO'd into this trade and closed it at BE. I see. So this is already. I know this is going to be a mistake. One sec. Okay, so let's take a look at this. It's a very similar context over here. Hmm. I think I started trading here, and then this is where I got my break even. And since this is still a very much valid MMB, uh, that's when I was looking for yet another entry, I guess, on the 1 minute. And this, yeah, I definitely FOMO'd into this one because I was like, hey, this is still above the rising EMAs, but it's already like, this is too much sideways for me. I don't like this. This is definitely a sign of loss of momentum. And while, yes, it's still in reaccumulation and it still makes sense that money could come back into this and I could start following it, I would much rather wait for a new range where it's fresh, where it seems like it wants to continue because this is a 50-50 at this point, right? This can be distribution, this can be accumulation. We have no idea. All we know is that there is some sideways, some money is exchanging hands. I have absolutely no idea what's going on here. What I was arguing, I guess, is that there was this big push higher, and then that by itself started reaccumulating. It probably had its little stage one over here, and now it's breaking out of that. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't like it too much. This stage two here is also not the greatest. Like, if I take a look, it's very, very wicky, like, very back and forth. Lots of supply present in the market. It's not completely one-sided. It's not the best. It just so happens that it taps me out by like a tick or something, and then ends up delivering to +6. But yeah, whatever. I would much rather maybe start following over here once it does something like this. And here, probably probably on this. Maybe that would tap me out. I'm not sure. Maybe over here I could have gotten involved. Either way, this was not a good trade. I FOMO'd into it, and somehow I managed to close it at BE. Maybe I actually have it here. I actually realized I FOMO'd and I closed at BE. It then went, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, I wasn't supposed to take this trade. It was already a well-defined stage one. Yeah, that's what it's ultimately all about. So this is a mistake. Yeah, let me mark it up. Okay, here I cannot say it's a good momentum anymore. Oh, yeah, this is a stage one. This is a stage one as well. Ugly entry. And it's also very choppy. But yeah, I already marked it up as a mistake. Cool, cool. So that's that. 6 minute ugly, choppy, stage one. And 1 minute. mm, Bad entry, choppy, stage one. There we go. Management wise, there was really nothing to do. So overall, this is a mistake. And yeah, we can move on. So next up is an AUD USD +6, but I didn't take this. Okay, so let's take a look. So here, there is a downtrend going on, and there's a little stage one over here. We break out above all of the EMAs, everything gets rising. right? And we have a little bit of a reaccumulation here. And I would not look for trades probably until at least here. Honestly, like this entire trade is a little bit sketch. The reason for that is that like this last leg down, right? If I look at some kind of institutional structure, comes from here, from this supply. So my expectation is that this is going to grab liquidity and fuck to the downside. And I didn't take this. The reason I didn't take this is because it wasn't on my radar. And I think it wasn't on my radar for a good reason. But it looked really good, like on the V, like 6 minute, 1 minute, 10 second. It looked really good, so I documented it. But I actually think it's the right call that I did not take this trade because this context is not screaming bullish at me. Like, yeah, there is some underlying bullishness here, but in my opinion, this bullishness was just for purpose of redistribution and going lower. And I think that's actually exactly what happens. But let's take a look. So here on the V, well, this is technically also a C. We have a stage one and breakout out of there. And then this, there is a lot of momentum here, right? Very strong stage two. And this stage two starts reaccumulating. So as long as I get a nice little break higher, I can set up my buy stop and take it higher as it's reaccumulating. It clearly took some liquidity, so I'm definitely valid to take this. This was a 1 minute entry, and this taps me in. It starts going, but then like all the momentum dies off, starts going sideways, sideways, and then eventually towards the end of the day, it gives me my +6. But overall, I don't think this was the best trade. Actually, let's take a look at AUD USD right now, and I think this indeed proved to be a redistribution and going lower. Actually, is this a long? This is a long. Okay, so let's take a look. AUD USD. And where was that? Where was that? Uh, what day is this? It's on the 14th, kinda. Uh, oh, okay, it's inverted. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, this is where the trade is. Okay. So, okay, I see. So it ends up going a bit higher after all. Not too much, but a bit higher. So maybe if we go to like a 4 hour, it's gonna be quite nicely visible. Nah, not really actually. What about the daily? I mean, I can't even tell what the fuck is going on here. Let me mark this up. Okay. Yeah, like overall, this market is just on the context. It's nothing spectacular. I'm actually glad I didn't take this. I'm not gonna say like, oh, I should have taken this. Could have been another +6. Yeah, maybe, but the context was just not too good in my opinion. So I'm definitely not mad at myself for not taking this trade. Yeah, I'm going to call this like there's definitely good momentum here, but questionable. I don't like this context at all. If the 6 minute, 1 minute, 10 second, or 6 minute, 1 minute happened in a nicer context, I would be all over this trade. It's a really, really nice trade, but the context makes it invalid. But yeah, there was very good momentum over here, and the entry itself was, I would say it's perfect. It was a great, great entry. Exactly what I want to see. So overall, well, it's not a mistake. It's a good thing that I didn't take this trade. So I'm gonna call it good. Yeah. Let's go back to Notion. Nope, not good context. Questionable context. Good momentum. Good entry. Management wise, so after, yeah, this was not enough strength for me, just kind of small, wicky, choppy little candles. But then on this candle, that's a strong candle away from my entry, clear sign of strength. That's when I reduce my risk. And I think after, I didn't include it, but after this little line over here, that's when I go completely risk free. So management wise, it was pretty much perfect. So, yeah, was good, was good. And I'm just gonna write a comment here. Actually good that this wasn't on my radar because the context wasn't too good anyway. Alright, moving on, we got some BTC trades. Bitcoin. Okay, I know that Bitcoin is overall fairly bullish. Like you can see that on the EMA 50, quick, aggressive slope up, lots of inefficiency left behind, and then eventually it breaks down, right? And as it breaks down, I instantly assume reaccumulation. But what I want to see, of course, is a stage one before I look for trades. And stage one happens over here, and then I want to see some strong momentum away from there. There is inefficiency left behind here. This is looking pretty good, and I would say this is a nice MMB. And my expectation, of course, is that this is going to go higher. So here we have the stage two that reaccumulate. I wasn't looking for anything here, I believe, because this stage two was not the strongest. Like, especially what the fuck is this chop and everything. But then I think it cleaned up quite nicely. Like there was a stage one over here, another MB over here. I would say these are two accumulation MBs, and then big momentum. And I'm like, okay, this looks ready. This wants to go. Then it pulls back a little bit deeper than I would like, but still above the EMA. So I probably wanted to see some kind of stage one here. And I can see that on the 1 minute. There is some stage one over here, like this. And this is a sign of strength based on Wyckoff accumulation schematics. And here, after this little spring, it started going my way. Big, strong, big, strong candles, good momentum over here. And I was thinking, okay, if this comes here, if this is to be redistribution, it's just going to tap this liquidity and fuck to the downside, right? So I'm very happy to set up a buy stop here because price does not really have a reason to go up here anymore unless it wants to go higher, which is exactly what I expect. And this taps me in. This actually does not tap me out, which is very interesting, but it didn't. And yeah, it delivers to like 5R and then comes all the way back to break even. That's a bit unfortunate. Those 5Rs, they always hurt when you have a 6R fixed TP, but it is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to call good momentum over here. Also, one big important thing is I know what Bitcoin looks like on the weekly and daily, and I know it's very bullish. So that's kind of why I'm okay maybe looking for less confirmation, so to say. But even then, this was a well-confirmed trade. But if anything, like if I look at this trade, I feel like it's a little bit wiki, like especially here. No matter what, like this market does not look super clean. Like this is wiki ugly and all of that stuff. Even here it gets wiki. There's an argument to be made that maybe I should have skipped this, but honestly, I felt like this has cleaned up quite nicely. This is super strong, and I just wanted to follow it. I think this was a good trade. I'm not gonna call it perfect, but I think it was good. Okay, so there was good momentum over here. Uh, there was good momentum over here, and yeah, and good entry. You know, just looking at this, I feel like this entry is a bit similar to one of the entries I took earlier that I didn't like too much. Ah, yeah, this one. I feel like this is very similar. Yeah, because also there is this little stage one over here, and I took the entry from the stage one, and I'm not quite sure whether or not I'm supposed to do that. I mean, it does make sense as long as the V is looking good. And here, what did the V actually look like? Was a bit weak, was a bit choppy over here. Honestly, not the nicest trade ever. Like, I definitely have nicer trades than this one. I mean, I do follow momentum here. It does make some sense. If anything, I feel like I should have waited for an MMB and traded on the 10-second. Once the 10-second reaccumulates, actually want to see how this looked like. No, I don't get to see. Too bad. I didn't even include how I broke even or anything. It's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't quite know what to think of this trade. Also, when it comes to the pullback itself, the measurement would be from here to here, so the 50 would be somewhere over here. But I do see a stage 1, which is important. If it pulls back more than 50, I need to see a stage 1. That's a rule of mine. The stage 1 is there. And then, yeah, this isn't my type of entry. Like, my entry comes from a reaccumulation. Okay, this is my entry. It's not this. It's not this. Okay, where it chops around and then it does this. It's not, because this is a stage 1 already. So here, I need to take an entry within an MMB. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to call this a mistake. Yeah, I'm gonna call this a mistake for exactly the same reasons as that UJ trade, which was here. Yeah, bit unfortunate, but gotta be honest with myself. No way around that. Hmm, too bad. That's another mistake. Alright, so good context overall on BTC, I would say. The V, the V is already questionable. Momentum definitely fizzled. It's a bit choppy, and it had a deep pullback. And the 1 minute, bad entry. Simply not my entry. That's all I have to say. It's not my type of entry. Yeah, that's it. Making this a mistake, not my setup, and deep pullback. Alright, well that's a bit unfortunate. I guess I FOMO'd a little bit. Oh well. I didn't get it. I didn't take any loss though. To break even. So at least that. Next up, I got a GU trade. And oh, nice. Winner. Okay. Let's take a look. So, why is the daily over here? I guess I was supposed to take a look at a higher time frame. Like, yeah, I usually look at the 60 and higher. And what I was interested in is seeing what does this entire thing look like, right? Because I was arguing this is all a reaccumulation, which means that if I see some nice money entering the market, I should be valid to trade it, right? And maybe I should just go back and find this GBP USD. Where is that? There it is. And is this the entry? I think it is. So it's on May 14th. Yes. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, here we are. Okay, okay. I see. I see. Okay. I remember I was looking at the 8 hour, and the reason is that I saw this whole impulse, and this was for me still reaccumulation, right? This whole impulse, the 50 is probably somewhere over here. I can just do that real quick. So this is definitely overall a shallow pullback, which is great. And now, as this is pulling back, probably like on the 8 hour, 8 hour was looking pretty neat. If I see money coming back into it, I'm gonna be happy to take it, right? And on the 60, also, I can see that there is a very clean very clean accumulation MB over here, and then it breaks higher, then it reaccumulates, and it confirms a reaccumulation. And as it breaks higher here, I'm simply expecting that that it's gonna go way higher than that. So that's why I'm valid to go and trade on the 5 minute. And here we can see a strong move that starts going sideways for quite a prolonged while, which is still completely fine. I'm just not going to trade anything in here, right? But the moment it shows me some willingness to go out, I'm going to trade. I remember I was also looking for a trade over here, I believe. No, I probably wasn't because that's 3 a.m. Let's not kid ourselves. I wasn't. But over here, once it does this, I was like, yeah, this looks very good. This looks like the chop is over, and now price wants to expand in a market that is already very much bullish. And my higher time frame, my directional time frame, is telling me that I should go long. So that's when I started looking for a long. This is the momentum, big strong momentum, right? Really big. I also marked up this. I think I cannot quite. Oh yeah, can see it here. On the 8 hour, it would have been much nicer, but this was like a major liquidity point over here, and I saw that it's breaking above it, right? And my expectation when that happens is that it's gonna grab liquidity and fuck to the downside. That is why I wasn't looking for a trade over here. But as that reaccumulates and goes higher, I'm like, okay, well, whatever liquidity was grabbed here is not probably for redistribution purposes, but this actually looks like it wants to continue higher. And I also have a little comment about that over here. So I drew this, I discussed this with my buddies as well. So the market can really do two things. Either above this like resistance, whatever you want to call it, above some clear liquidity point, when it just grabs liquidity real quick, the expectation is that it's gonna fuck off, right? It's not gonna spend a lot of time over here. But when it goes above and kind of starts chopping in a stage one above that price, it's kind of showing me that it's trading above that price, right? It wasn't just like a quick action where it liquidates everybody and then continues in its intended direction. No, it's staying above this price. So if it continues higher, I'm more than valid to take that trade. So let's go back to that trade over here. So here, that's exactly what I do. I just kind of wait for this to happen. And as it breaks higher and makes a new high, I'm convinced that this is looking good. This is looking bullish. And I'm more than happy to put some risk behind it. And here you can see strong move, starts reaccumulating. And again, big reignition, small little pause. And I set up my buy stop. This 10 second was absolutely perfect. So beautiful. And here it taps me in very strongly. Very quickly I can reduce my risk, right? Big candles showing strength away from my entry. And then I reduce risk completely when it breaks above this high. And that delivers to +6 pretty much within a few minutes. This was a beautiful trade. So yeah, let's mark that up. Good momentum for sure. Good momentum here with a stage one breakout. Very good momentum over here on the 1 minute. And a perfect DMB. Perfect entry. So yeah, very nice. I'm gonna call that perfect. I like this trade so much. Okay. Moving on, we got 4 more trades, I think. No, 5. Okay. Here is a gold -1 that I didn't take. Why did I not take that? Ah, I already ended my session. Okay, I see. So gold, I think this is a short, right? So here there's a reaccumulation, big stage one over here, and as it breaks higher, I'm expecting this to become an MMB and to continue higher, of course. Here on the 6 minute, very impulsive move, and as this starts going sideways, I was probably looking for some entries over here, I think. Yeah, most likely, but nothing quite sets up. And after this, After this, I'm no longer looking at anything in this range. That range is too long, too much stage one, too much chop. So I'm waiting for a breakout above into a new range. That happens over here. And we can see that on the 1 minute. This is a nice, strong breakout, leaving behind inefficiency. EMAs are rising and everything. It's looking very good. Then it breaks down for a reaccumulation. And as it does that, I'm very much valid to go for a reignition trade, which is exactly what happens over here. And I set up my buy stop. I can also see it on the 10-second. It was actually a 10-second entry. Nice. I mean, it looks good on the 1 minute as well. But yeah, this is it. This is the stage two. Then it pulls back. I would say this entire impulse came from over here. So if I was to look for the 50 would be somewhere over here. Still completely valid to trade there. And here, big money comes back in, pulls back in a shallow pullback, and I'm totally valid to take that entry. Taps me in, instantly fucks me up. But I think this was a very nice trade. I didn't take it. For once, I actually didn't take a -1. Yay! Happy about that. Usually when I don't take something, it ends up being a +6. But yeah, I'm happy that I did not take a -1. But yeah, good momentum over here. Very good momentum over here. Good momentum over here. And I would say this was a perfect entry pretty much. Yeah, definitely makes a whole lot of sense. Was it perfect? I think it was. I think it was. I'm gonna give it a perfect, even though I didn't take it. So mark it up. Oops. Management-wise, there was nothing to do. So yeah, that was a perfect trade. All right, moving on. I have a spread loss on US 100 on NAS. So is this a short? I think it's no, it's a long. Okay, it's a long. So there was some kind of stage one over here, and from there broke out MMB1. This whole thing is probably MMB2. This is MMB3. By no means is this overextended. This is looking very, very nice. If money is coming in on my 6 minute, I'm definitely going to look for trades. So here, huge stage two, right? Enormous, like leaves behind inefficiency, big candles. It's a little bit wicky, like it's moving a bit in a choppy way, but still I would say it's pretty strong. Like looking here at the 1 minute, it's not the best. Okay, it's not the best. Uh, Even though it looks pretty good on the 6 minute, like ultimately I like to see these candles, the bullish candles, they're not that bullish. Like yeah, this little segment over here looks pretty good. This little segment looks pretty good, but overall everything came back to mitigate pretty much. Like there's a little bit of inefficiency here and a bit here, but it's not looking too good, right? What I usually like to see is markets that go like this, like they accelerate away from the EMAs and then they reaccumulate. Those are nice entries. But this is just, eh, this is not the best. But anyway, this is what happens, and now it starts reaccumulating, right? Takes some liquidity over here, starts going sideways. So if within this overall area of reaccumulation I see money coming back in, I can take it. So what I see over here on the 10-second is simply that, well, first of all, like this stage two is ugly. I don't like it too much. And this is the entry. The entry itself makes a lot of sense. If I isolate just on this, this is kind of nice. But I feel like I forced this a little bit, and it's a bit choppy. Yeah, it taps me in and instantly starts delivering, and I reduce risk, but it comes all the way back. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of this trade, to be honest. Mm, should have done better. But yeah, good momentum. I feel like I forced it a little bit. Good momentum, yeah, but a bit choppy. Same here, like it's moving higher, but it's choppy. I can't really say it's weak, right? Because this is one of those. I already showed it before. This is one of those uptrends that chop higher. Instead of doing something like this, which is preferred. It's doing this. Whoops. Yeah, it's doing this. And I do not like that. So should do this, and it's doing this, right? I'm gonna leave that here as well, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. And this, eh, I don't know. I feel like I forced it. It's very choppy and a bit forced. So I'm gonna call this a mistake. I don't like this. And like you can see that it follows rules really, really well in terms of structure, higher highs, higher lows, blah blah blah, MMBs, all of that stuff. But the way it looks is just different. Okay, the the rules around good momentum are simply not met here. Yes, it's moving in the way it's supposed to in terms of the direction, but not in terms of how it actually moves, how these orders come into the market. So yeah, I don't like this. But it was definitely in good context, that's for sure. The V is questionable because it's choppy, and the 1 minute is. I'm not even gonna call it questionable, it's just straight up ugly. Ugly, choppy, and when the 6 minute is ugly, choppy, the 1 minute is always going to be ugly and choppy as well. That's just the way it is. And the 10 seconds, that was my entry, right? Like the entry itself was pretty okay, but the problem is that it happened in a choppy market. So that's that. Anyway, I reduced my risk over here, not completely, because if it pulls back, I want to give it just a little bit more space in terms it wants to pull back deeper and continue higher. And that's ultimately what leads me to take the minus 0.2. So management wise, it was perfect, but it was a mistake because it was choppy. That's it. All right. And we have another win on gold. So let's take a look. Okay. So I have this direction of the trend, right? And a big, big flush out. So here, what I'm ultimately going to look for is some kind of stage one in here and then an expansion out of it. So I'm going to zoom into it and see what happens. So this is the low, right? This is this low. And then it starts going higher. I'm not allowed to trade any of this, not at all. That's just the expectation here. If anything, well, it's very uncertain, but if anything, after such a big sell-off, the expectation is that any bullishness here is going to be for the purpose of redistribution and continuing lower. But here, what it does, it goes higher, right, and then it starts reaccumulating. And here, like the expectation is that it's going to go lower. And I call this redis because it's inverted, but let's stick to not the actual direction, but the direction of what the chart is showing. So here it reaccumulates and continues higher, right? So this is my stage one now, and I am valid to continue this this direction. So it goes higher, then it reaccumulates still above the rising 50 and everything, and then money comes in over here. Let me see that on the 1 minute. So here I have a little bit of a stage one as well. It breaks out. Here it's like, it's nothing special. I wasn't looking for any trade here because it was kind of choppy and all. But then eventually this big move happens out of a stage one, right? Because this is a stage one ultimately. We can see that over here, some choppy nonsense, but it clears up very nicely, like clean momentum, very, like it's obvious that money came back in. It reaccumulates. I know that I measured this as well. This impulse is coming from here. So this was definitely above or at the 50. And as it like touched below a little bit, it instantly reversed. So that's the kind of reaction I like to see. Reaccumulates, big money comes in, has a tiny little pause. I'm valid to set up my buy stop. I take that buy stop, and that delivers pretty much instantly. I reduce risk on this candle, very strong candle, looks good. Then it creates this structure above my entry. That's where I go completely risk free, and it delivers within a few minutes. So I really like this trade. This was a good trade. So, how am I going to how am I going to label this? Hmm. Mm. Mhm. Yeah, it's a stage one expansion over here on good momentum. This this already had its stage one expansion and it's continuing the trend with good momentum. The 1 minute the 1 minute definitely had good momentum over here, and also a big reason why I was looking for a trade is simply because this impulse over here was very, very strong, right? So I am looking for trades in this range overall. And here, this is actually the refinement of the 50, right? The 50 is somewhere over here. So it's pretty clear that this should be technically invalidated or whatever. Yes. But if that happens, I am still very much valid to look for trades in the upper 50 if there is a stage one over here, especially if it comes back to some kind of demand like it does over here. So this was absolutely beautiful in this turn, but I do need that stage one. And that stage one happens over here. And here it's still a little bit choppy. I think maybe I was looking for some kind of entry over here and didn't get one. And then once it started chopping, I wasn't looking for anything anymore. And then it broke out on big momentum again. And that's when I started looking for a trade. And I would say this was pretty much a perfect DMB. Very nice. Like it's so clear that the money is coming back into the market after a flush, right? After reaccumulation. So yeah, I like this a lot. I would say this was a perfect trade. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna label that up. Perfect. Good. Moving on, there is a spread loss on US 100. So let's take a look. So so here we have a flush. I would say this is a complete reset or whatnot. Goes higher, pulls back, chops around a little bit. There's going to be a stage one here, and then it's going to expand, pull back into an MMB, and probably have a trade there. So let's take a look. Here, big momentum, breakout out of that stage one, right? Out of all of this nonsense that was suppressing price. Pulls back a little bit, and here it goes with big momentum, leaving behind inefficiency. We can probably see that nicely, yeah, on the 1 minute. This is a beautiful stage two. Comes from all the way over here to here, so I guess the 50 is somewhere around here. Comes there, plays around a little bit, creates a stage one. So either way, no matter what, I'm totally valid to trade this. Breaks out, pulls back, creates an MMB that is looking very nice. And within that MMB, oh, I see what this is a 1 minute entry. I see. So I was looking at this impulse and creating the MMB over here, and within that MMB, I was simply looking for money to come in and go higher. So it's I see. It's again, it's the same shit, isn't it? Yeah. It's again the same stuff. The same stuff. It's this all over again. Okay, I made three of these. Look, I'm not saying they are necessarily bad entries because clearly they can deliver and they can be good. But ultimately, what matters is this is not the type of entry that I want to be taking. I mean, it does make a lot of sense, right? Like there's a big move, it reaccumulates, and then money comes in. Like it does make a lot of sense. I think this is a good trade, but it's different from all the other entries in this sense. And I'm wondering whether I should be okay with that or whether I should filter those out. And uh yeah, I don't know. Like looks pretty okay. Looks kind of nice. But the way it was supposed to work is actually like I was supposed to trade this as an MMB. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay some attention to it and maybe make some back tests, but like it's absolutely clear that this is not my type of entry, and that's ultimately how I'm going to approach it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to label this as a mistake, unfortunately. So, what do we have here? Even the context is like nothing too spectacular. Like, yeah, I can see it over here. This is stage one, blah blah blah. Like, oopsie, I didn't want to do that. Here, like, do we even have a, bro? What the fuck just happened? My entire thingy froze. Okay, okay, very very weird, but whatever. What did I want to do? Oh yeah, I want to do this. Yeah, I mean, this was a weird trade. Feel like it was a bit forced. Definitely a questionable context here. I don't like it too much. There's no good momentum. Like, yeah, there is this, but it's already reaccumulating too much. Ugh, questionable context at best. Mm, Here, yeah, there is decent momentum over here. That's true. Especially this little thing, and that's when I started to look. Yeah, yeah, I forced it. Like, I was definitely looking for this, and that was good. Then it pulled back, and it created the stage one. That was good. But this entry, I should have traded on the 10-second, if anything, and that usually doesn't happen. So what I was supposed to do is I should wait for something like this, and then maybe enter like that. So this is very different from my normal entry. Yeah, that's ultimately how I'm going to approach it. It's not my entry. I'm not saying it's bad because it clearly follows momentum quite well, but it's just not the way that I'm used to entering. No, it's not good context actually. It's questionable. There is good momentum here, yes. Uh, but the entry itself, well, it was a 1 minute entry. The entry itself is questionable, and it's not my entry. Yeah. And management-wise, okay, I reduced risk over here. I considered reducing risk over here, but it was a little bit too early, I feel like. So I gave it a bit more space. And over here, I felt like, okay, if this comes back, I should no longer be in that trade. And yeah, that instantly after reducing risk, it comes back. And I suffer a tiny little loss. So that was good. Management-wise, that was perfect. But ultimately, it was a mistake because it was not my setup. Okay. And last one, again, US 100. I think this is probably exactly the same. So let me just see what happened over here. So this was the original entry over here, right? And I'm still looking to get involved over here because of this huge momentum. This is the stage two that defines my range. So as long as we're within and money comes in, I'm willing to trade it. So here, it starts chopping quite a bit. Let me see that on the 10-second. And yeah, this was a horrible, horrible, horrible trade. And the reason for that is that in order to enter, I'm entering in reaccumulations, right? So this is a reaccumulation, and it's a reaccumulation of a preceding stage two, right? And this is the stage two, therefore. And this stage two is ugly as fuck. It's so fucking ugly. I don't know why I traded this. What time was it? 14. I should not have been fatigued or anything. I just kind of forced US 100 twice in a row. I was lucky that I got BE on this and like tiny little losses, but I definitely forced this. This was not good. Like by itself, this entry. The thing is, this happens everywhere, right? Like money coming in and having a small little pullback, that happens everywhere. It's important to only take these types of trades when there is a clear delivering market that is not choppy and that is very one-sided. And this wasn't it. So questionable context. This is already like very choppy at this point. So is this. And this is just the ugliest entry this week by far. Ugly entry. Weak stage 2. And very, very choppy. Yeah. And forced. Ugh. Not so happy about this one. This is kind of these two trades are a bit shameful, I would say. So definitely gonna have to mm, look for ways how to avoid this and not get trapped. Like I don't really understand why I started following it. I think I simply started following because of this, but then I didn't pay too much attention. Like it already all started with this mistake. Yeah, not too good. Not too good. Either way, questionable context, questionable, choppy. 1 minute is just ugly at this point. It's also choppy, and 10 second is bad entry, very choppy, very weak. Management wise, okay, I reduced risk over here. I think that makes a lot of sense. Then I went risk free over here. That makes a lot of sense too. Management wise, it was perfect, but overall, it's a mistake. Uh, choppy and weak. All right, and that is all. So let's filter out the mistakes real quick. Quite a few. So I had how many? 14 trades, I believe it was. Uh, all of this can be deleted. I did the results already just to see how I did. Okay, so I had 15 trades, and out of 15 trades, I had 6 mistakes. And most of the time, what kind of mistakes were those? So I was trading choppy weak, not my setup, choppy, not my setup, stage 1, and not my setup. Okay, so the one that repeated the most, uh, 3 trades that were not my setup. That's bad. Uh, also traded some weak choppy markets. And this stage 1 trade over here, yeah, that was bad, but I got out at BE. But still, I have to acknowledge the fact that I made a mistake here with the stage 1. Yeah, traded in stage 1. So these are really bad mistakes. I should not be doing these, and I'm going to be paying more attention to them. But yeah, it is what it is. One thing that's very good is that except for one, well, one instance of following which resulted in 2 trades, I was following really good momentum. That went well. Uh, followed good momentum. So let me see the perfect trades. I mean, I can't really see too much over here, but so these are the perfect trades of the week. Big momentum on these time frames and a nice reaccumulation, right? What about this one? Big momentum, nice reaccumulation within that big momentum, even on the C, huge momentum. Here, uh, uh, good momentum, nice reaccumulation. Yes, this is nice. What about this one? Isn't that the one that I just took? Yeah, it is. Gold, strong momentum, strong momentum, strong momentum, money coming in within reaccumulation. Beautiful. Strong momentum, money coming in after a flush. Yep, this is perfect. All after strong stage twos. So yeah, these trades were really nice. Mm, yeah. So I would say I followed momentum really well. And except for following US 100 when I was not supposed to, I followed the right types of markets. So yeah, these are the two instances where I believe I wasn't supposed to follow. It was all the momentum was kind of fizzled out and sideways. That wasn't too nice. Here, this trade is a little bit different, but that's only because it's after a big flush, but there was already a stage one and continuation higher, so that made a lot of sense. This was nice. All of this was really, really good. This one was not good, and yeah, I didn't take it, so that's actually good. This one makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot of sense. Like the gold and EU trades were by far the best, I think. Regarding the wins, by the way, regarding the wins, uh, let me check results for wins. The wins were on gold, GU, EU, and EU. Okay, let's see. Just wanted to know that out of interest. But yeah, and on the V and here, like most of these look like there's a lot of momentum, right? When I look at these, it looks very similar to what Anton trades with his stocks. Big, big impulses, right? Big momentum in the market, and then simply looking to follow in reaccumulations. Yeah, I mean, compared to, yeah, this one is ugly. I see. That was a mistake. It's like, compare all of the previous ones to this one. It's so clear that there is like momentum fizzled here, right? It's so clear, and that by itself should be a clear indication to me that I should not have been following this trade. So while AU was not necessarily in the best context, still the momentum is very much present. Makes a lot of sense. Here, yeah, once again, this is just, it's not as strong, it's different, right? These just, look at these huge candles, this insane momentum, this acceleration away from all the EMAs. That's much nicer than anything else. This was good too. Yeah, this one was ugly. Even though it looks pretty strong, it's actually ugly. hmm Yeah, alright. So I followed momentum well. Mm, I like my entries. Like, my entry criteria was amazing. I liked my E's. Those were good. But yeah, I'm gonna have to be careful regarding this. Anyway, the results, I had 3 wins, 5 break evens. I can now do it after filtering out mistakes, but overall plus 11.2 R, which I'm very happy about. But now let's actually take a look how my results would look like if I performed perfectly. So first, let's get over wins. So plus 6, I was supposed to take this one. So 1 win, 2, this, nah, I didn't like this one, so I'm not gonna count this one in. 3, 4. Okay, I was supposed to have 4 wins actually because of that one EU thingy. So 4 wins. How many BEs? Not mistake. So this one was a mistake. This one was a mistake. This one was a mistake. One, one BE. How many spread losses? This one was a mistake. This one was a mistake. One, two, okay, 2 spread losses. And how many losses? Ooh, no. Sorry. 4 wins. God damn it. I have to go again. So this was bad. How many Bs? One. Okay, one BE. And I made a mistake correcting this, so I have to go again. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, I had originally five Bs here. So now we go into spread losses. I think there was one. Mistake, mistake. Good, good. Okay, two spread losses. All right. And how many losses? How many minus ones? I was supposed to take this one, so one, two, three, four. Four losses. Okay, that equals to 4, 5, 7, 11 trades. And we go 4 times 6 minus 2, 2 times 0.2 minus 4 minus 11 times 0.2 for commissions. So let's take a look. I'm going to calculate it here. So 4 times 6 minus 0.4 minus 4 minus 2.2. That's 17.4. So had I executed perfectly, I would be up 17.4 R. I'm up only 11. And yeah, regarding trades, I took 15 instead of 11. The biggest difference really is 4 BEs over here. The losses were actually really good. It's just that I took unnecessary BEs, mostly by trading in chop, and some unnecessary spread losses. Overall, I think it was alright. Like, still a few too many mistakes, more mistakes than I would want to. Once again, if I go and filter out mistakes, this is a bit too much. 6 is too much. 6 out of whatever, 15. Ugh, I would like to make only a few mistakes each week at most. So this was not the best, but also there was a lot of trades and some fresh refinements. So I'm just getting used to it. But overall, I'm kind of happy with this. I'm especially happy that I didn't miss some wins, and those would be the only wins like in previous weeks. So yeah, for next week, that's the last thing I'm gonna do. What to focus on, right? So week 21, I'm actually not even gonna trade week 21 because I'm going for a eye surgery on Monday, and I'm gonna have to take a long break from screen time and everything. So probably not gonna trade, but still, I'm going to use alerts. I'm not gonna trade deep pullbacks. Not gonna trade week stage twos. Not gonna hesitate, of course. But on top of that, uh, is there anything on top of that? What was the worst? Oh yeah, not my setup. I see, I see, I see. Only trade my setups. No stage one breakout entries. Okay, that's what I want to focus on. So that's all. Uh, I knew this is gonna be a longer one because there is a lot to address in terms of like how I follow price and how I want to coach myself through this, and there was a lot of trades, so I'm expecting this to be longer than an hour probably. Ooh, holy shit. An hour and 45. Oh well, I don't expect anyone to necessarily watch this. This is most importantly for myself. But if anyone finds value in this, that's great. I received some really kind messages, nice DMs that these help people out. I'm very happy about that. If something was helpful to you or If this evoked some interesting thoughts, do let me know. Tag me in Trade Talk. Ask me questions. I'm happy to interact. So yeah, I'll see you guys probably not next week, maybe at the end of next week in the markets. So good luck and peace out.